Welcome to the MLB Closing Time Show right here on Pub Sports Radio. It is Wednesday, June 23rd. Ian Cameron, Conor Mack with you. We're ready to break down a Wednesday MLB card, chock full of a lot of day games taking place as well this afternoon. So without further ado, let's get into it. We've got the Nationals and the Phillies just about to start. We'll do these games both at the same time. Get them out of the way now because they're both just about to begin. Nationals, Phillies. We've got Eric Fedde and Vince Velasquez on the mound in this one. Pretty much even money both sides. I am on the Nationals here, first five in full game, a little split here. Look, gamble when you're an alcoholic and you have alcoholism problems, you have a problem. When you're a compulsive gambler and you can't stop, you've got a problem. My problem has been I've had a problem the last several months. It's failing to admit that Eric Fedde is actually pitching pretty good right now. For the Nationals. That's been my problem. And I'm finally willing to admit it, and I trust him a little bit more than I trust Velasquez going into today. Washington got a nice win last night. I think Washington wants to stick it to Girardi, too. I think that angle is something to keep in mind. I think what he did was ridiculous last night with Max Scherzer, and I think that pissed off the Nationals, and you basically poked the bear going into this game. So I think the Nationals, they have the pitching edge. Their bullpen's actually been better than Phillies lately, so I'm on the Nationals here. First five in full games. St. Louis, Detroit, I'm on the over. I don't trust either starter. Gant is regressing. I don't trust Manning. We talked about Manning. He's a guy that was a big-time prospect, and he's been taking him 5 years to get to the big leagues. He didn't pitch well in his first start against the Angels. I think we'll see runs there, Cardinals and Tigers. So over in the Detroit game, Nationals in the first game, in the Nationals-Phillies game, first five full game. What do you think, Connor, of those two?
Well, I didn't touch either of them. As soon as I saw Fedde and Velasquez, it's like my two guys going against each other. I wanted nothing. And yeah, if it were to back anyone, it would be Fedde in that game. He's pitched better, and not Velasquez hasn't. He's starting to fall back a little bit. In the other game, I lean over, but I didn't bet that either. I don't want any Gant. Manning, we'll see how good he's going to be. Injuries have plagued him. I leaned over, but I didn't bet that either. So it was a pass for me.
All right, next game, we got Milwaukee and Arizona. This one starts in a couple of hours from now. We've got right now Milwaukee in that minus 215, minus 220 range in this one, total 7.5 across the board. Brandon Woodruff, that had to have been his worst start of the season. No question about it. No debate whatsoever. Last time out against the Colorado Rockies, he got drilled. Home runs are suddenly a little bit of a bugaboo lately for Brandon Woodruff. If you look at his last few starts, he's now given up 5 homers in his last 3 starts. That's 5 home runs in his last 17 innings of work. So it's been a little bit of a problem for him. We'll see if he can bounce back here. He has done well against the Diamondbacks in the past, 3-0 in his career against Arizona. So that's good news. Caleb Smith, on the other hand, pitched really well against the Dodgers in his last start. 1 hit, shutout ball in 6 innings of work. Unfortunately, Arizona couldn't give him any run support. They lost the game 3-0, but he pitched quite well. He is 0-4 against Milwaukee in his career. He actually pitched pretty decently against them earlier this season. Just a couple of weeks ago, he only allowed a run in 5 innings, but lost that game 2-0. Again, no run support for Caleb Smith. But he has pitched decently overall this season, 3.64 ERA at home. Woodruff, 1.59 ERA overall. I think it's probably a good bounce back spot for Woodruff. Can we trust Caleb Smith? That's the question. When you look at the Brewers, obviously not a lineup that we've thought of as a potent lineup. And in the last 10 games, 219 batting average against lefties for the season, 215 batting average against lefties. They have done a little bit better, though, against lefties than they have against righties. So not a game I got involved with, but I guess I would lean a first 5 under. If I were to go in one direction or another, keep in mind we'll have to see where the lineups are, because you're right, the lineups just came out, and it's looking like a pretty weak lineup for Arizona. I don't see Ketel Marte in that lineup. He's a big bat in that lineup for Arizona. Escobar as well. Milwaukee's lineup not confirmed yet, but lean first 5 under for me in this one. What do you think, Connor? Brewers and Diamondbacks.
Yeah, this is a game I'm going to stay off as well, especially after looking at the lineup. D-backs have been hitting a little bit lately. I don't know if Woodruff got hit as hard as he did. The guys you just mentioned, small sample size, but Escobar 3 for 5, 2 for 7 for Marte, Reddick 2 for 5, Ahmed 2 for 7. I thought it might have been a sneaky over 7.5 full game, but I'm going to stay away. And the Brewers, I had them first 5. I thought it was a cheap price with Peralta. He was great against them again. First 5, half a run. I think it's a little bit too big of a price here with Woodruff. He probably bounces back, but it was just a pass for me.
All right, a pass for Conor on this one. On we go, San Francisco Giants, LA Angels. We've got Kevin Gossman and Shohei Ohtani, even money, pretty much both sides, 8 the total. Shout out to our good friend Nutflush Allen, by the way, attending the Giants game and the Angels last night. And boy, it brought them some good vibes because the Giants, man, they got off to a strong start in that game last night, and they didn't look back, shutting out the Angels here. I think the San Francisco Giants continue to be a value side. Like, I like Ohtani a lot, but come on. I mean, the San Francisco team just finds a way to keep on winning. You can't argue that right now they're a better ball club than the Angels, although the Angels have done a little bit better lately, especially with their offense. But Gossman, how can you argue with what he's done? 8-1, 1.51 ERA for him. The thing with Ohtani is he's good, but he sometimes can give up a home run, and he doesn't pitch deep into ball games either. He usually, the pitch count usually gets up there when you see that. So I'm definitely not interested in the Angels, even with Ohtani. It's a lukewarm lean for me on San Francisco. I liked San Francisco a lot more yesterday and on the weekend against Philly. But to me, this price continues to be a little bit disrespectful for San Francisco. I think they're pricing San Francisco like everybody expects, the roof to cave in on this team at some point this year. Well, I've been saying that for 2 months and it hasn't happened yet. So maybe they're just good. I would lean San Francisco here. What do you think, Conor?
This one's interesting here. The old Gossman, he's got some bad numbers against some of these Angels. Rendon, 10 for 24 with a homer, a triple, and a double. Even Upton, Suzuki's 6 for 14. We'll see if if they can hit him today. But I'm on the first 5 under 4, minus 105. Ohtani just keeps kind of proving me wrong. We talked in this in the Discord. I used to stay off him because I didn't know he's pitching, he's hitting, he was hurt. He'd always be inconsistent, walk guys. He's been dominant on the mound so far this year. But in that, I'd still lean Giants full game. I want that Angels bullpen, and I think it's a little bit of a cheap price. So I'm on the first 5 under 4 here, minus 105, and lean the Giants full game, minus 110.
All right, Colorado, Seattle. We've got German Marquez, Justice Sheffield, the pitching matchup here. Even money, both sides, 8.5 the total. I'm not even going to talk about the pitching matchup. I like Marquez is 4.26 ERA. He's actually been halfway decent for a team that's pretty bad like Colorado. That's actually not bad. He's pitched. And I know Sheffield's kind of struggled, 5.65 ERA coming into this start. This is just a bet that I regard. I don't care what the starting pitching matchup is. I couldn't care less, to be honest with you, in this game. You're talking about a team that's won 5 road games all year, even money on the road in this game. Like, what are we doing here? Like, seriously, 5-28 on the road, and they're even money in this matchup against the Seattle Mariners. For the life of me, it's hard to fathom this price. It really is. I think Seattle's the side you got to look at here going into this game. There's nothing to like about Colorado's performances on the road, not one bit. It's absolutely a bargain in my mind with this Seattle group. I know Sheffield has had struggles. That's the reason you're kind of getting this price and this number. But to me, Colorado doesn't hit the way they do at home on the road. Sheffield can, I think, manage through this lineup, and the Mariners can take care of the rest here. So I like Seattle here, even money. It's just, to me, crazy price for a team that's won 5 road games, 5 all year, 5, and they're even money in this game. I like Seattle here. That's where the value, I think, is. Conor, what do you think?
This is a game I'm off, but I lean a little bit with the Mariners. They got me last night. They won the game, of course, but I had their team total over 3.5. They didn't score any runs. Marquez isn't very good. He's pitched a lot better lately. A lot of that at home. I just don't trust them or the Rockies on the road. So, yeah, it's Mariners or pass here. And maybe we see some more runs today. I mean, we had a 2-1 game yesterday. Maybe this game can get up and over 8.5 here.
All right, we move on to the rest of the card is night games for the rest of the slate here. Houston, Baltimore, Jose Urquidy and Tom Eshelman on the mound for the Orioles. We got the Astros minus 200 road favorites, 10 the total in this game. Thomas Eshelman is a guy that's been around the block. He's never been particularly good. And now here he is making a start here for the Orioles, although he did pitch okay against the Jays, but I think that's just a one-off. This is not a guy I think is going to be long-term successful in this rotation. Jose Urquidy for the Astros is definitely starting to trend in the other direction here a little bit. Last 3 starts been a little bit rougher for him. We'll see if he can keep it going here, especially that start against the Jays, 6 runs, 9 hits, labored through his last 2 starts. We'll see if he can pitch a little bit better here in this one. I don't trust Eshelman. It's a warm night here in Baltimore. And by the way, Urquidy, a 4.59 ERA on the road. So we've seen a noticeable jump in his ERA when he pitches away from home here in this game. So I know last night's game stayed under the total. It's kind of surprising that Houston got held to 3 runs against Jorge Lopez and company, but that has been the exception to the rule. You look at the last time they only scored a couple of runs. Actually, this has been a pattern with Houston. They scored 2 runs against Minnesota on June 12th. The next game, they scored 14. They scored 2 runs against the White Sox on June 18th. The next game, they scored 7. So you get my point. When they get held down one game, they usually break out and have a huge night at the plate the next night. I think you're going to see that here. I like the Astros team total. Bit me last night, but I'm going to come back to the Astros team total over and the full game over, 10 as well. I'll be on both of those tonight. What do you think here, Conor? Astros, Orioles.
Yeah, this is a tricky one a little bit for me. You're just getting no value here with the Astros on the road. They ended up winning that game yesterday, like you mentioned. And I don't love the over 5.5, so I think they bounced back. Eshelman pitched well. Can he do it? Pretty well. 4 2/3 for filling in for Zimmerman. But a journeyman guy who's come up. Urquidy's never faced the Orioles in Camden Yards. I lean Astros, and I go full game over here, over 10. At even money a little bit. I haven't bet it, but that'd be my only lean. It's starting to get pricey here to take first 5, half a run, or even run line. You're not getting a ton of value, but it'd only be Stros here.
All right, only be Stros here, and obviously very much priced in the number about how the kind of edge they have. Not only their lineup, but the pitching as well. Urquidy struggled a little bit lately, but he's still, I think, a lot more trustworthy and reliable than Thomas Eshelman. We got Danny Duffy and Michael King next up. Kansas City, New York Yankees. Yankees minus 180 home favorites here, 9.5 the total. Let's give our special guest from yesterday, Jose Big Balls Bouquet, is what we're going to have to start calling him here. To make Kansas City best bet at plus 260 against Garrett Cole and to see it cash in. Hell of a job by our young Padawan, if you will, Jose Bouquet, who did a really, really good job with that call last night on the Royals. I like the Royals a little bit here again. First 5 in full game. I got to say, I know Danny Duffy's coming off the injured list. That's always a concern, and it certainly is for me. But let's not forget how he was pitching before the injury. Really well for the Kansas City Royals. In fact, you could say arguably maybe their best pitcher at the time. He was absolutely fantastic for them prior to his injury. I think there's a good chance he can keep it rolling for the Royals tonight against the Yankees team that I don't trust them right now, game to game. It's still a lineup that is, I think, dramatically underachieved this year. Their numbers against lefties are so-so. I think he can go out there, pitch well, and I'm not a Michael King guy. This guy has not really pitched all that great since joining the rotation. His ERA sitting at 4.08, but his ERA as a starter is much worse. I think this is a live underdog again. Again, Yankees continue to be overpriced. I know the Royals have gone through their struggles, but when you beat Garrett Cole, you're doing something right. They had a lot of good at-bats against Cole. They made him work. He was laboring through that game. They didn't give him anything easily. That's a good show at the plate last night for that Royals lineup. I think they keep it going here. So I think that's where the value is. Royals first 5 and Royals full game. I'll split it up with those two. What do you think here, C-Mac, Royals and the Yankees?
Yeah, Michael King, I want nothing to do with him. I think it's a good spot to take the Royals here as well with Duffy, who's pitched pretty well. His ERA under 2 here. I look at the Royals first 5. You can get them around plus 140. They've done well. The only guys, the Yankees that have hit him that I was looking at is Gleyber Torres is 3 for 5 with 2 homers, maybe a jack of the day off Duffy. But the Duff man, he's done well for me this year, and hopefully they can score some runs. I lean the full game over as well, over 9.5. I think now the Yankees are hard to trust offensively this year, and you mentioned it, especially against lefties. They've struggled. But I see an over here in this one. King is not very good, and I think Duffy could give up a long ball or two. So I lean over. And Royals first 5.
Yeah, I think the Royals definitely live in this one, much like they were last night. Michael King not trustworthy. Again, Duffy, you could say he's not trustworthy. He's coming off the injured list. But boy, if he pitches anything like he did before that injury, he'll give Kansas City a chance here to once again pull a underdog win for them against the Yankees. Next up, we've got the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets. We've got Kyle Wright on the mound for the Braves, and we've got Tyler McGill on the mound for the New York Mets here in this one. Right now, we've got the Mets around -120, -125 home favorites, 9 the total in this one. I kind of like Atlanta here a little bit as an underdog. I was looking up some info about Tyler McGill. He's like a third or fourth round pick of the Mets. He wasn't a highly touted prospect by any stretch of the imagination for this team. It's going to be a spot start for him. His numbers in Syracuse at the AAA level this year, 3.77 ERA. It's okay. It's not great. I'd prefer to have my minor league pitchers coming up to the big leagues, in the 1 and 2 when it comes to their ERA, not 3.7, not the high threes. So I don't necessarily trust him here. I know you could say Atlanta's both of these lineups. We've seen, pitchers, no-name pitchers, mediocre pitchers, below average pitchers shut these two lineups down, and neither one is hitting right now with all that much fervor. But I don't see a lot of high ceiling here for Tyler McGill. Kyle Wright for the Atlanta Braves making the start here for them. I can't say anything about him as overly impressive, but with Max Fried on the IL with that blister injury, Kyle Wright gets the recall from AAA. We'll see how he fares here. He made a spot start in April, 2 runs, 3 hits, 4.1 innings. We'll see how he pitches here against the Mets. But again, the Mets aren't exactly mashing the ball either. But I do like Atlanta here a little bit. I'll go with them here as a slight underdog in this one. I just don't think Tyler McGill is someone I prognosticate to have a great deal of upside long term. I mean, you're talking about a fringe arm guy that's spent a lot of time in the minors. He was drafted years ago. It's not exactly like we're talking about a big time prospect here. So Atlanta for me in this one, first 5 full game split. Connor, what do you think?
This is ugly. These teams drive me nuts lately. They can't score. They're just a mess. And the Braves, I haven't been right with them in a week or so, and I've just been staying off like I did in yesterday's game. Wright gets the call up. Few Mets have hit him. Dominic Smith's 3 for 6 with a homer. McNeil 4 for 7. But you're talking McGill. I don't think he should be -120. So if I were to take anything, it'd be the Dog Braves, but I don't love it. And we get some runs today? Total's 9 here at even money. You probably could get an 8.5. But I don't know, man. Both these offenses have been dreadful.
I think these two pitchers are potential to lead to an over, but these two lineups right now, just absolutely pathetic right now.
Yeah, the game's just a stay away for me. I want nothing to do with this one again.
Yeah, I mean that's the tough part. I'm just going to stick to Atlanta because I could see Atlanta, 4-1, 4-2,
yeah, you can get
type
plus
of
110. Yeah,
and I don't know. I'm not convinced it goes over. I think these pitchers are suspect enough that it could go over, but these two lineups, like we say, look at the games in this series so far. They're just not hitting either one with a great deal of vigor right now. The Blue Jays and the Marlins. Speaking of two teams that didn't hit with a lot of vigor last night, these two teams, a pitcher's duel between these two, and the Blue Jays end up on the right side of it. 2-1 victory last night. Battle of lefties here. Robbie Ray, Trevor Rogers. The Blue Jays now. The Blue Jays now are priced the way I thought they should have been priced yesterday. They're the favorite here, -130. Road favorites here. The total 7. I was surprised they were a mild underdog last night. They're still better than the Miami Marlins, and they got the win last night. Robbie Ray continues to be, I think, bet on pitcher for me. 3.5 ERA. The walks have gone down dramatically. He's still prone to the home run ball every now and then, but the good news is Miami doesn't hit a ton of home runs. So that's the good news going into this start for him. Trevor Rogers, just magnificent. 1.87 ERA, 7-3 record. He's a bet on pitcher for me as well. So I'm not involved in the side, but maybe he can get there. First 5 under 3.5 here in this game. This could be a very, very low scoring start to the game, much like last night between Stripling and Alcantara. Those two guys held the lineups in check in the first half of the game. I think you could see that here again tonight. So the under first 5 is the most appealing betting proposition for me when it comes to this game. What do you think here, C-Mac? Toronto, Miami.
Yeah, these pitchers, and they have good numbers. Ray does against the Marlins. Can it happen again? I'm a little leery, especially a 3.5 to go back to the well again, and there won't be runs early. But that's my lean, is the first 5 under 3.5. Maybe somewhere out there you get a 4, maybe like around minus 125, 30, because the 3's at even money, 3.5. And I like Robbie Ray, but I'd lean Rogers. He's been really good in his start, especially, so if I were to bet a side, I lean the Marlins maybe. First 5, you're getting around plus 110, 105. He's just been so damn good for me in the first 5. I'd lean Marlins here.
Yeah, I like both pitchers, but so I can't choose between them. But yeah, Rogers is every bit like someone I'm looking to bet on still. He's been excellent for the Miami Marlins. And I feel the same way about Ray, so that's why no side, but I do like the first 5 under a little bit. Boston and Tampa Bay, we've got Garrett Richards and Rich Hill on the mound here. Tampa minus 145, home favorites here, the total 9 in this one. Garrett Richards is certainly had an up and down season. It's been more down lately. He's kind of trended in the wrong direction in his recent starts, 4.36 ERA. I'm kind of worried about Rich Hill a little bit because he's kind of trended in the wrong direction the last. Remember, he started out the season so strong, pitching extremely well early on this year for the Rays. It hasn't been quite as good for him in recent games. You look at Rich Hill last 2 starts against Baltimore, 4 runs, 4.2 innings. Against Seattle, 4 runs, 6 hits, and just 5 innings, 2 home runs allowed in that game. So you got to worry if that keeps on going here tonight for the Tampa Bay Rays. He's kind of trending in the wrong direction. Boston, by the way, really hitting the ball well of late, especially last 10 games. Their strength is against lefty pitching, 294 team batting average, 5.79 runs per game against lefties over the last 10 games. Yes, Dick Mountain. A shout out to our Jose Bouquet, because you're right. If it was if he was talking about this game, he'd be saying that. Dick Mountain on the mound here for the Tampa Bay Rays tonight. But Richards, as I mentioned, he's not been in great form of late either. You look at Richards' last few starts, 4 runs, 11 hits, 5.1 innings against the Blue Jays, 6 runs, 7 hits, 4 innings against Atlanta in his last start. Not good numbers lately for Garrett Richards. I'm not surprised. He's not really someone I projected to be, a great addition to this rotation when they got him, and he's kind of slumping right now. The over got there last night with these 2 teams with ease. That game was over the total after the 5th inning, thanks to the great phenom for the Tampa Bay Rays in his major league debut, Wander Franco. Unbelievable job. First game, and he hits a 3-run home run. That's a hell of a debut. The only thing that was missing was the win, though, because the Red Sox ended up winning in extra innings. But this kid looks like he's going to be a big-time hitter, a big-time power hitter for the Tampa Bay Rays. Keep an eye on him, Wander Franco. And with Richard's propensity at times to give up the long ball, that's definitely a jack-of-the-day candidate for me, this kid, because he looks like he could be a guy that's ready to mash immediately at the big league level. Vlad Guerrero, for instance, it took him a while to get going. It may not take this guy long to really get it going in the big leagues, and he already showed you last night what he's capable of. So Wander Franco here for the Tampa Bay Rays home run prop. I think this is something to look at moving forward. No question about it. What do you think here, Conor? Boston, Tampa Bay.
Now, this is interesting. Rich Hill's been so good all year, but the Rays are they're losing. They're in a funk, man. I don't know. Glasnow kind of goes down, and they've hit the shits, and I don't think they're going to do anything without an ace like that to go far in the playoffs. I lean the Red Sox at plus money again, and I lean over. I think we could see some runs here again. I just don't love it, though. You got to back Richards. I never like doing that. So it's just a lean here. I haven't bet it yet. I'm going to pass. A couple obscure jacks, though, of the day you could look at. Mike Zunino, 7 for 11 off Richards with a homer. And a guy who hit one yesterday, Hunter Renfroe, 7 for 21 with a couple homers off Rich Hill. Dick Mountain, as Jose would say.
Yeah, Dick Mountain. He's fallen down the mountain the last couple starts. Definitely not been good. And it coincides with this whole crackdown shit going on. So keep an eye on that too. Is the crackdown and the old pad downs that are going on in Major League Baseball. By the way, Max Scherzer, bravo to him for sounding off last night about this and coming after Rob Manfred for this ridiculous nonsense. Like, these guys are getting patted down like they just, robbed a bank or robbed a convenience store or some shit. It's
Yeah.
absolutely embarrassing. It's embarrassing to see them getting treated like this. There's got to be some other way you can, investigate if they've got some sticky stuff on them or whatever than doing it the way they're doing. They're treating them like criminals, for crying out loud, these pitchers. I don't blame Max Scherzer for being pissed off.
Yeah. The
At all
multiple
about it.
times is the big one. The going to check 2 or 3 times, multiple every 2 innings. That's getting, yeah, that's what I didn't like.
Yeah, exactly. Dick Mountain might go limp. Exactly right. If he keeps this up, this this rough stretch that he's been on. All right. This is the 7th inning stretch. We're going to try to incorporate this into the show moving forward. Once we get down to the last couple of games, the late night games on the card, we'll pause for the 7th inning stretch to acknowledge the viewers. You guys that tune in every day here to the Pub Sports Radio MLB Closing Time Show, and give you all a shout out. Benjamin Mills, Cheshire Cat, Not Applicable, Kyle Hintlian, Cash Action Bets, Michael Knuckles. It's funny, just of course, Razor Sharp. Check out his videos daily. Jose Bouquet, Big Show Picks. Sieg Hustle, Turnsey, Gerardo, I should say, Gerardo Coronado. Great show. We appreciate that. Thank you very much for that. Very kind words, very kind compliment. Ryan C., Lance LaRose. We appreciate everyone in the chat for joining us here each and every day on the show. Thanks a lot. Mike Hunt in the chat as well, DC. So thanks again, everybody in the chat for joining us here on the Wednesday edition of the Pub Sports Radio MLB Closing Time Show.
Like button.
Let's go. Yeah, hit that like button. We appreciate it. Like, we see the viewers here, 120. Hit that like button. We want to see a bunch of those 120s be incorporated into the thumbs up count as well. So make sure you hit that thumbs up button for sure. Down to the last 2 games here, Oakland and Texas. We've got James Caprillion on the mound for Oakland, Mike Fultonevich for the Rangers here. Oakland minus 140. Road favorites, 9.5 the total in this one. Caprillion's definitely been solid overall, 2.84 ERA. The only issue is you've got definitely a situation where I think we've got Oakland obviously crushing Texas's pitching last night. I think you're going to see it continue here tonight against Fultonevich. He's just been not good. The last start was awful for the Oakland Athletic, or for the Texas Rangers. Mike Fultonevich was just not very good in that outing. Caprillion does have some concerning peripherals, Connor, in that he does have a higher FIP, higher xFIP. There's some belief that he's not going to be able to maintain and sustain the way he's pitched to this point. So I like Oakland. Don't get me wrong. First 5 in full game, but I like the over as well, 9.5. I mean, I think we'll get there. I think Oakland will mash Fultonevich and that Rangers bullpen, which is nothing great. And on the flip side here, we've got James Caprillion for the Oakland Athletics, who there's just some concerning red flag peripherals for him. For his, even though that ERA is solid, it makes me. And look, Texas might be. I believe Texas is facing him now for a second time. So sometimes you worry about that too. That it might be a second look for this Rangers team against him. So I like Oakland, but I'm going to back it up with the over 9.5 here as well in this one. What do you think here, C-Mac? Oakland and Texas.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Fultonevich fan. He did just pitch well. Okay, I think in his last start a little bit. I can't remember exactly. But you mentioned with Caprillion, I think he's good. I mean, he was drafted by the Yankees, kind of cast off, but he was a high pick. But I don't know if he's 4-1 with a 2.84 ERA. But yeah, you got to like the A's here. I like their team total again, except now you mostly see 5.5s. I don't love those 5.5s as much, but I'm on the A's. Yeah, first 5.5 a run, full game. Run line here too. I think they get to the Rangers and score a little more runs. And I think Caprillion goes 5 or 6. You're right. He might give up a couple runs himself, but he's been solid. So give me the A's here.
All right. Liking the A's here in this one to get the job done. We'll see if they can do that indeed. Next up, we've got the last game already. LA Dodgers and the San Diego Padres here. Great rivalry. And it's not been a great rivalry for the Dodgers and their fans the last couple of days here, as they'll try to finally bounce back against this Padres team. San Diego minus 115, slight home favorites. Joe Musgrove on the mound for them. Trevor Bauer for the Dodgers, 7.5 the total in this game. They've got serious momentum going right now, San Diego. Momentum I'm not going in front of. And look, you just continue to see problems and struggles and issues right now for this Dodgers lineup. It's shorthanded. They're not really hitting the ball with all that much conviction right now at this point in time. So that's an issue right now for the Dodgers. The lineup's been feeble, and that's putting it mildly at this point in time. Musgrove's been solid. So is Bauer. Bauer's got pretty good numbers against the Padres, but Musgrove been pretty good of late as well. Can we see the Dodgers, though, losing 3 straight to the Padres? I don't know, but I think it's from a spot perspective, it's not the worst thing you could do to look to the Dodgers in this game. But on the flip side, I'm looking at it and saying, you know what? The Padres are feeling it. They've been amazing on this homestand, going back to the Cincinnati series over the weekend. I'm not messing with that. I'm not messing with their mojo. I'm not messing with the great pitching that the great run that they've had. Their offense has come back to life here for the Padres right now. So they're feeling it right now. I'm not stepping in front of their momentum. They got it going at the moment. So I would lean San Diego again here, but it's probably not a game I'm going to end up getting involved in. What do you think here, Connor Mack, with this one? Dodgers, Padres.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stay away as well. I'd lean the Padres again. I mean, can the Dodgers be swept? We'll see. All I know is Machado and Tatis have hit Bauer real well. Other than that, nobody's hit him off the Padres. Tatis 2 for 6, 2 homers. Machado 12 for 22 with 4 jacks off Bauer. He owns him. So Padres just look good. The crowd's pumped. Dodgers just couldn't get any runs across there. Left guys on again last night, then scored a couple late, and it wasn't enough. It's just a pass for me. I'm going to watch it, but I lean Padres here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see again for the Dodgers. Every night now, you're wondering who's going to be available for Dave Roberts in the lineup. You know, they've had just so many guys in and out with injuries all year. It's been a rough season from an injury standpoint for one Cody Bellinger. You know, still wait. You know, he's actually someone that's probable tonight with that hamstring. But expected to potentially be activated. He's been on the 10-day injured list. Betts was removed with an illness last night. He is expected, though, to be back. And then, of course, you've had Seager out for a while, among others. And we'll have to see who's in. I will say this, though, for Musgrove against some of these Dodgers. Muncy, Pujols, Turner, those 3 guys have done some damage against him. So keep an eye on that. We'll see if it continues here tonight. On the flip side, though, Machado and Tatis Jr. I mean, Machado, I've got to look at that home run prop tonight. Absolutely, because he's actually feeling it right now. He's had a home run already in this series. He homered 3-run bomb in the opening game of this series on Monday night. Look at these numbers here for Machado against Bauer. 12 for 22, 4 home runs. So that's some kind of track record. 4 bombs off of Bauer. So you got to look at Manny Machado here tonight from a Jack of the Day perspective in my mind. Great stuff, Connor. That is the MLB card. We will get to best bets. We will get to Jack of the Day in just a second. But before we do that, as we do at this time of the show each and every day, we'll pause for a couple of messages from Manscaped and Southtown 101. All right, Southtown 101. Check them out when you're in San Antonio, Texas. Great food, drinks, and live music, DJs, and karaoke as well. Southtown 101 in San Antonio. Manscaped, promo code Pub Sports, 20% off your purchase. Lawnmower 4.0, you can get the whole package. They have tons of stuff there. They got the stuff for your balls there. You can keep that smelling fresh and keep that clean as well. All kinds of stuff there. Manscaped promo code Pub Sports. 20%.
Another reason. I like what you
I
said.
know, because as I've gotten older, it's been important to keep it clean down there for sure. Manscaped promo code Pub Sports, 20% off. Of whatever you get there with that promo code. So make sure you use that and check it out. MyBookie.ag promo code Pub Sports. NHL and NBA playoffs for just a couple more weeks. Major League Baseball, of course, All-Star break approaching, but there's still a whole second half left. There's football in 2 months. We're getting ready for that. NFL and college football. It'll be here right before you know it. MyBookie.ag, use the promo code PubSports. Bitcoin, accepted currency for your deposit as well. MyBookie.ag, promo code PubSports. All right, let's get to it. It is time for the Jack of the Day.
We'll see you later.
All right, Jack of the Day time. I'm going to keep it very, very simple here. Wander Franco, it looks like he's the real deal. Major league debut, you hit a 3-run home run like that. Now, I know Eduardo Rodriguez is not very good right now, but still to do that, pretty impressive stuff. I'm going to go with Wander Franco as a home run prop. Manny Machado against Trevor Bauer is a no-brainer. When you've got numbers like that, 4 bombs against Trevor Bauer in the past, we got to look toward Manny Machado for the Padres tonight. So I'm going to stick to just to those two. Wander Franco for Tampa Bay against Garrett Richards. Manny Machado for the Padres against Trevor Bauer. Conor Mack, Jack of the Day.
Yeah, I think Machado, Tatis are no-brainers. I think they're both hot, especially Machado lately. And they probably hit one tonight, at least one of them. If you want a bigger price, I told you earlier, Hunter Renfroe, Mike Zunino, you could probably get good prices, shop around for them. And lastly, Gleyber Torres, I mentioned 3 for 5, 2 jacks off Duffy. Every once in a while, he can give up the long ball, and he's the most successful guy. So Gleyber Torres.
All right, there we go. Gleyber Torres as well for the New York Yankees. All right, Conor Mack, best bet for this Wednesday card. What do you like?
I'm going Giants, Angels. Give me the first 5 under 4 here, minus 105. As long as these two guys pitch how I think they are today. Ohtani's been great. Gossman's been great. I see an under here. So give me the first 5 under 4 here, Giants, Angels.
All right, there you go. First 5 under 4, Giants, Angels. Best bet for Conor Mack. Mine's going to be a total as well. I considered Kansas City, but I'm going to stay off that just because it's one of my stronger bets today for sure. Kansas City is a live dog. But with Duffy off the injured list for his first game, I'm going to just pump the brakes on that being best bet status for today. Going to go with Houston, Baltimore, over 10 instead tonight. I think we'll see runs tonight. And I was debating Astros team total over, which I like as well, or the full game over. I'm going to go full game over, though, because Urquidy is regressing and trending in the wrong direction right now. And Baltimore can hit. Baltimore is, especially at home, they're a lineup that can put some runs on the board. So I think they'll get a few. Houston will get the rest. I like the Astros and the Orioles over 10 plus 100, right around even money. That will be my best bet here for this Wednesday MLB card. That'll wrap up this edition of the MLB Closing Time Show. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. A reminder, football show, good question. Gravy Bets, what is your football show? It is coming back. I don't know if it's going to be closing time again, but it will be the very similar form, Matt. It'll be Conor and I will be doing, breaking down, and we'll get NFL. We did NFL with Ski last year. We'll try to get him back for Sundays.
We'll have multiple shows too.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll have multiple shows during the week to preview, maybe a fantasy show. We'll have a few here at Pub Sports. Definitely. We can't wait for the NFL and college for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll bring the college football on Saturday mornings back again. NFL closing. It may not be closing time though. We might come up with a different name like we did for the NBA show, just to diversify the names of the shows and not make everything closing time. So we'll wait, but there will be basically a Saturday morning and Sunday morning NFL and college football show. Very much will be one is what for that. Might even do some like for these weeknight cards for college football. We might even have a show during the week for college football because you get sometimes those Tuesday MAC games, those Wednesday night games. You get those Thursday, Friday games as well. So might do something for that as well. So it's all up in the air, but definitely from a content perspective, and I'm sure we'll be doing a bunch of live shows during the football season, during a college football Saturday and a NFL Sunday. I'm sure we'll be doing some live stuff as the games are going on as well. So it's going to be wall-to-wall content for football season. I can guarantee you that. We're still ironing out, and we've still got to hammer out the details, but there's no question it's going to be wall-to-wall coverage and content for NFL and college football season coming up right here on Pub Sports Radio. C-Mac, you got to be excited. It's going to be here soon.
Pumped. Oh, yeah. I can't wait. I love football. I love baseball, but, there's something about the end here. Goes college basketball, U.S. Open the summertime. You get the dog days of baseball. I'm ready for football, man. Let's get it rolling. When the August hits, I'm really pumped.
Yeah, exactly. I'm doing the reading up, especially when on the college side, you need to do your reading up because there's just so many teams and lots of player changes, personnel changes, returning starters, who's come, who's gone, new coaches, new coordinators, new systems. So you got to definitely stay on top and keep up with all of that. But we'll probably do some preview shows as well, maybe in August leading up to the season as well. But we'll iron out all that stuff. It's still a couple months away, but this will be the place to be for football season for sure. Pub Sports Radio. It's also the place to be 2 hours from now right here when we are back for the NBA Pub Hub.
Yeah.
Me, Conor, Max, Ski Prophet, and Dutch Boy Fresh will talk Game 1, Eastern Conference Finals, Atlanta Hawks, Milwaukee Bucks getting underway tonight. We'll look back at another great playoff game last night, Clippers and Suns. Thrilling finish to that one. We'll break it all down. We'll recap last night as well on the NBA Pub Hub, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Join us for that. Looking forward to it. For Conor, Mac, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you in just a couple hours for the NBA Pub Hub show right here on Pub Sports Radio.